Hi guys, it's Saturday and I am craving like a home cooked meal. I don't want anything out from a restaurant. I don't want a green chef. I want something that I make from scratch. And right when I was talking about making what to make for dinner tonight, Chuck was in the other room and he happened to be scrolling through TikTok, and he came across a guy making Texas chicken spaghetti. And I like chicken spaghetti. I don't know if you've ever had it before. It's kind of a Midwest thing, definitely something I only had when I was here in Texas. And so I thought it sounded really good too. Now I'm gonna make a few different tweaks on it than what his recipe called for, because my other goal besides making something home cooked is to use what I have in my fridge, because my fridge is bursting at the seams and I need to clean it out. So I'm going to be using what I've got, making do with what I've got, using ingredients that are probably nearing their expiration. We are going to use a half of a chicken from Chuck and Addison's broilers that they raised for Addison's FFA. And so we've got some home cooked chicken that I have Instapotted. And you know what's great about the Instapot? You can just stick chicken straight from the freezer right into the Instapot with a cup of water and some seasonings. And if it has a bone in, I would say 30 minutes on high pressure, manual, and you have shredded chicken. But if you don't have an Instapot or didn't plan ahead, no worries. You could use a rotisserie chicken and shred it. You could buy the rotisserie chicken already shredded from the grocery store. You could throw any chicken that you have in your fridge or freezer into some poaching water and poach it and then shred it, or bake it and shred it. Whatever. You just need some chicken for this chicken spaghetti. And then we're gonna use some vegetables that we have sitting around that need to be used up, including some things from the garden, including an onion that Addison grew in the garden at her school, which is very cool, and some other things. So it's just kind of an adventure here because I've got no recipe. We're just winging this, and I'm using this TikTok video as my inspiration. So let's see what I come up with. And what I'm going to try to do is write down what I put in here so that you can maybe create your own little mini chicken spaghetti masterpiece at home. All right, let's get started.
So our seasonings are Italian seasoning, smoked paprika, granulated garlic, salt. I'm using a red Himalayan salt and pepper. So to make our chicken, we sprinkled them with those seasonings, and then I put it directly from the freezer into the Instapot with 1 cup of water. I did it on manual pressure for 30 minutes, and then I'll let it set natural release for about 10. And there we go. That is Addison's little onion from her garden at school. And now it is time to shred the chicken. I've pulled it out, removed the skin, and time to get started. If you like that apron, that is an apron my mom makes. And then we just get busy shredding the chicken up.
All right, guys, here is our finished shredded chicken. This is a half of a chicken. And then one of the best things about using your Instapot to make the shredded chicken is that, look at the broth. It gives you a delicious broth, and we are going to use that in our chicken spaghetti here in just a little bit.
Meanwhile, while I was making chicken spaghetti, Chuck and Stuart and all the dogs were out back getting ready to take care of the burn pile, which had really built up. We haven't had rain in a long time, so we haven't been able to burn. Until now, we finally had some rain. So Chuck got busy getting the burn pile on fire so we could get that taken care of.
Okay, so what's going in this dish? Well, it has a cheesy, creamy sauce. And the TikTok video used cream cheese. And what else was it? Cream cheese, heavy cream, something else. Well, I don't have that, but what I do have is I have some ricotta that is really past its date. It needs to be used, but I just tasted it. It's perfectly good. So we're going to use ricotta to make our sauce creamy. And then we'll also use up some of this shredded provolone I have in the fridge that needs to be used, some shredded Mexican style cheese that needs to be used, and probably some fresh grated Parmesan. The TikTok used artichokes, so we're going to use these up that need to be used. And then I have these vegetables. They don't look super appetizing, but that's because the mushrooms are kind of discoloring it. They're the creminis. And these were sauteed last night. They're just my little patty pan, yellow squash, greens, zucchini from the garden, mushrooms, and onions. And we're going to put those into the casserole because I'm always sneaking in vegetables where I can. We're going to use up these because the TikTok recipe called for a can of Rotel. Well, I don't have a can of Rotel, but I do have these and they need to be used. We're going to use those. I think first things first, I'm going to use Addison's adorable little onion that she grew at school in her school garden. And we're going to saute this and tomatoes and these vegetables and get that all cooked. Okay, I've got my cast iron skillet preheating with some olive oil in there. And then I took Addison's adorable little onion, diced it up. That's going in that skillet along with some of those mushrooms and all those veggies. And the tomatoes.
Chuck had successfully gotten that fire going really well. And he checked out the rain gauge. Just look at how much rain we got. That was the most rain we've had in a very, very long time. What a relief to see some rain in the gauge, the grass green up, and I can tell you that the garden grew a whole lot after that rain.
I told you I didn't know where this was going, and I've already changed my mind. I am not using those mushrooms, and here's why. They're creminis, and they turn everything this dark brown kind of color. You look at my vegetables I cooked last night. They're all have cremini brown all over them, so I'm afraid to put those in my casserole. They'll make the whole thing brown. So I'm just going to stick with the few mushrooms I have in here, and I chopped up all of those cherry tomatoes that I had, and those are going into the skillet with the onions, and we'll see how this goes. Here is my onions getting, just a little color on there, which is perfectly fine. I love that. All right, I'm gonna put those tomatoes in. Okay, tomatoes are in, and I'm gonna let those cook down a little bit, and I have this little guy sitting over here from, I don't know, a week or two ago. Didn't quite finish it, just a little bit of, what is that, Chardonnay. So that is going in there after those cook down a little bit. And now I'm going to the pantry because we need to go pick out some noodles. You can't have chicken spaghetti without spaghetti noodles. So let's go see what we've got. Don't look too close at my pantry. It's a disorganized mess, but you can see we have a lot of noodles, and we, again, eat mostly gluten-free. So while not everything in here is gluten-free, tonight's dinner is going to be. So I'm going to dig around in here until I find just the right noodle that I think will make this dish delicious. Ooh, I love this brand. These noodles have a really great texture. Let's see, what else do I have in here? That's also bow ties. This is Ooh, here we go. Here we go. Spaghetti noodles, but they're the Jovial brand, which I love. So, found our winner.
How many sticks? Because there are plenty field. We carry that. First we go for the biggest. Yep, now let's go put them in the fire. Good stick, bring it on. We're just going to break it up in little sticks.
Okay, these are looking fantastic. Oh yeah, that's gonna be delicious. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and add this wine at this time. I'm gonna give it a little bit of, and it's no good for drinking anymore anyway, it's kind of old, so it's perfect for cooking. I'm gonna let that simmer away. I'll probably do some salt and pepper in there. And then I'm gonna put the rest of those veggies in there. And my vegetables are done. Chicken is done and ready. Then we just need to work on, ooh, I gotta do these artichokes. Let me get those in there. And then we're gonna work on making the creamy sauce. Okay, artichokes are now quartered. So those are going into the skillet with the tomatoes. Okay, there's the artichokes in with the tomatoes. Here go my leftover sauteed squashes and onions and mushrooms from last night's meal. And now we just have like this nice jumble of vegetables and tomato, and I'm just gonna let this kind of cook through. You know, since I'm making up this recipe as I go along, I don't really know what temperature I'm going to put these in the oven at, but I picked 375. I think that's a nice in between. And then I may go ahead and broil them at the very last minute. Don't eat my chicken.
I won't.
I have to really work to keep her off the shredded chicken. And then I think I might broil it at the very last minute, just to cover the top in a nice brown cheesy coating. Here is the casserole dish that I am going to cook this in. It is a gorgeous Le Creuset that my husband got me for Christmas a few years ago, and I love using it. Did you help with that purchase?
We always go together to
I
get
know.
you those.
Okay, well,
I pick out the color.
so I have this lovely Le Creuset. Thank you, Addison. And so this is what everything's going to go into. And the cool thing is we're not even going to really cook our pasta completely ahead of time. It's going to cook in the juices in the casserole with the vegetables and the chicken. And so let's put it together. Okay, so I'm putting in a whole bunch of ricotta. I said I kind of need to use this ricotta up. So this is going to become our creamy sauce. Yum. Okay, so now I'm going to strain the chicken broth from the Instapot, and I'm going to pour this into there. So this is the seasoned chicken broth and the ricotta cheese. And now I think we're ready to put this together in our casserole. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take these noodles. I'm going to put them in here. These are, again, gluten-free noodles, so you can use regular noodles. They should pretty much act the same way. I am going to break them in half just to make sure I can kind of stir this around after I get all of the goodies and the sauce in here. So there's that. Now I'm putting in all the chicken, shredded chicken. Should get it all. And then here comes the vegetables and ricotta cheese and chicken broth from the Instapot. Oh, and don't forget a little bit of white wine. And that's going in there. And I'm probably going to have to add a little bit more chicken broth because, again, those noodles are going to absorb most of it. So I'm going to add chicken broth. And then I'm going to mix this up. And add some cheeses. I've got that provolone left over. And I've got some shredded Mexican that I think I'll wait and put that up on the top. I just need to kind of get these noodles all moved around. Whoops. Not exactly a neat and clean process, but I've got to get these noodles underneath the sauce. See, otherwise they'll stick together. We don't want them sticking together. So, add a little bit more chicken broth. Need those to kind of get covered up. And I'm probably going to add a little bit more of the stuff that makes it so creamy and delicious, which is the ricotta. Just kind of work that in there. It's a good thing I'm wearing my apron. I am making a big old mess. But that's okay. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is make sure I get all of the noodles submerged.
It smells really good.
It's going to be really good, I think. Get all my noodles submerged. There we go. And I'm going to top this now with some shredded Parmesan. All right, so just using this to do some Parmesan. Need a lot of Parmesan. Okay, so I've topped it with the shredded Mexican cheese and the shredded Parmesan. I'm going to place this lid on it. The lid is going to help those noodles cook, and it's going in the oven.
Well, while that's in the oven, it's a perfect opportunity for a little catch-up time. Addison had a lot to tell me. She started a new summer job and loved to tell me all about it. She's working at a nearby dog training facility, and she has just so many great stories to tell me. And then out back, Chuck still got that burn pile going. He keeps a good close eye on it anytime he's got a burn pile going, just in case. And I just love to stand at my window and look out at my garden and our backyard.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I just took it out. Okay, this was about probably 45-50 minutes of cooking. I tasted a noodle, it's perfect. And they are so good. It is so good. And Addison's starving, so she can't wait to eat. So I'm gonna let it cool for just a few minutes, and then I'm gonna serve her up. What do you say? Would you give this a thumbs up? Yeah. You gonna give me one? Can you please give me one? Thumbs up. Is it good? Or are you sure? Okay. Thumbs up for me too. Vegetables have to go in it.
And there you have it, folks. Another Ogle creation for dinner, but it turned out really good. Special thanks to my husband for coming up with the idea, and special thanks to my daughter for being the unwilling participant in my audience. And I really enjoyed eating this chicken spaghetti, and you should give it a try. Down in the comments, I am going to have a kind of synopsis of what I did, and feel free, as you can see, add your own flair, do your own thing, but just use this as a guideline. Thanks, guys. It sure was a lot of fun spending this time with you. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you make your own chicken spaghetti masterpiece. Don't forget to subscribe. I really need some subscribers out there. Thanks, everybody. Bye.